Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Nerd Week Live here on YouTube. Thank you all for joining us here on our third iteration, and I think, the first one that's actually working right out of the gate. Wouldn't that be awesome? Whoop, whoop.
Wouldn't it?
Ring that bell. Isn't technology awesome?
Hmm.
Folks, hopefully you'll join us here to talk about all sorts of interesting nerdy stuff. We've got a ton of topics to go over. And give me a second, folks. I just realized that I did not adjust my chat so that I'm seeing all the newest stuff lately. Let's see. Live chat. There we go. That's what we're going to say. Jaden, hello. Dana, hello. How you doing? Thank you for joining us. So we're going to jump right into it right after the introductions. Almost forgot that. I'm Rodney Brown. I'm the editor-in-chief of Nerd Caliber. I am first-person shooter on the interwebs. And joining me tonight on this crazy week with election nights and everything being rescheduled, and oh my god, it's just been nuts, is...
Byron McNeil, aka Byron D0. I am a contributing writer for Nerd Caliber, movie reviewer, social media specialist, and the fearless leader of the Weeb Trash Can podcast, which is an anime podcast that I run on the side that we run every couple weeks or so. Um, I'll post a link. I'll post a link in the chat if I can. I'm glad you like my One Piece flag, Jaden. Got it for Funimation.
Oh, I didn't realize that. That's awesome. Um,
Yes.
so, Byron, just to give you a heads up, that's way too much enthusiasm for the mic that you're currently using. So, bring it down just a little. So, anyway, folks, like I said, we're going to get into a ton of stuff here. So, we're going to jump right into it. And the first piece of information is they've changed the premiere date for She-Ra and the Princesses of Power on Netflix. That premiere date is now this coming week, November 13th. So if you're looking forward to this, and if you haven't seen the trailer, go to YouTube, go to Netflix, go look it up. It looks really interesting. I'm gonna say a sort of Steven Universe meets Voltron animation style, but the story is way more in depth than what you might expect. I mean, this is kind of Legend of Korra level good versus evil versus plot twists versus what have you. Um,
Yes.
and you've only got to wait until November 13th to start watching it.
And I'm going to binge the hell out of it. Now, I'm from what I've picked up from the trailers, they really did their homework trying to get the feel of the original series, but and also making it their own. Like they've given Alora's um Horde origins a lot more gravitas, from what I can tell.
Yep.
Like she had, yeah, like she actually has had like a relationship beyond just being a soldier in the army of the Horde.
Uh,
So
and they go in depth into that status, her status as a soldier. I don't want to give out too much of her backstory if you haven't seen the trailer, or
mhm.
because it's to me it was pretty surprising. I mean, I liked the depth for it. Um, yeah, I think you're gonna look at it. Ooh, somebody's planning to see it first at 1 a.m. Somebody's staying up late. Look at you, Dana. And Dana, thanks. I'm glad the picture looks good. I'm glad we're looking sharp tonight. Um, anyway, November 13th, folks. I also will be binging it. Interesting to see whether or not this holds my binge status better than Castlevania did, which took me a bunch of tries to get through. Season two,
First
anyway.
season or second season? Oh,
Second season.
really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. An endless parade of whiny vampires just got me really bored. Um,
Enough.
you know, half the episode with a bunch of idiots throwing books around. Anyway, sorry. um, that said, we're not going to get into Castlevania because we'll be talking about it later, folks. Castlevania will be coming up.
Hmm.
But we're moving on to our next topic because, like I said, there's piles of them. And that is that actually is not, in fact, the actual Pennywise. That is from Rhode Island Comic Con. Um, and that is the amazing Walking Goddess FX, walking.goddess.fx on Instagrams, who did this at Rhode Island Comic Con, this fantastic Pennywise. But the news is that they have actually set a date for It Chapter 2. They've finished shooting, and they've set a release date. And the release date is, he would have read this up early, September 6th, of, I'm assuming, next year. Yeah, if they wrapped it up now. So September 6th, 2019, there it is right there. The official announcement on their Twitter handle, on their Twitter account. September 6th, 2019 is It Chapter 2 with the Grown Up Losers Club and the apparently Stephen King's now favorite bad guy, because he was in the name of the town.
Salem's Lot.
Nope. The town that Castle Rock. He was in the Castle Rock series on Hulu as well, the kind of bad guy. It's really hard to say exactly what he is. But Bill Skarsgård is tall and creepy even without the clown makeup. He's just extra creepy with the clown makeup. Maybe not even that creepy because she's amazing. But anyway, I'm looking forward to it. I saw it. It didn't scare me. But then I'm quite a bit older, but it didn't scare me as much as the first one did. Byron did.
I haven't actually seen the first movie yet. It's been on my to watch list.
Color me shocked.
I know there are a lot of movies to watch over the course of a year, and I've seen most of them. I have a ton of screeners from different studios that I have yet to watch. I'm gonna get more before the end of the year. So,
Dana,
movie critic.
Dana, back up one. Why is it looks weird? What looks weird to you?
The link to my website, I think.
No, now Dana said she looks weird. You think that this Pennywise looks weird? All right. If that's what you're referring to, weird and scary. But anyway, moving on to our next thing. And again, like I said, we're going to blast through this. And here is that Castlevania I just mentioned. Now I can say how hard Season 2 was to get through for me. And the news is Season 3. Yep, they confirmed it. It has just a couple of days after Season 2 debuted. In fact, they confirmed that there will be a Season 3. It will go, yet again, jumping up an episode count from 8 to 10 in Season 3.
Oh, wow.
Warren Ellis is coming back to write it. Sam Dietz will be directing it, and all the voice cast, of course, is back doing all of their... I'll give them that. The voice casts are fantastic, up to a point.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't think of his name. Anyway, the voice actor for Godbrand. I love him as an actor. Absolutely adore him as an actor. Boy, it was hard listening to his voice.
Yeah, it was. I kind of just groaned every time I watched Godbrand, but he's no longer in it.
Spoiler alert.
Oops.
Oops. I don't think we have to worry too much about that. It's people, people binged it. That's what they do.
Yeah.
So anyway, we don't know exactly when it's going to appear. It will probably be in the late summer or early fall, as what happened in the last 2 seasons. 10 episodes. Maybe it'll take a little bit longer. This may be a winter. 2 years from now.
It's worth the wait.
It is. If anybody can make people standing around throwing books around in an ancient library fun and enjoyable, it's Warren Ellis's writing.
Yes.
So that was definitely still a big plus. In my mind, he just spent way too much time on vampire exposition as opposed to drunken vampire hunter exposition in the first season, which was funny.
They can't all be winners.
They can't.
I'll- I
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I just hope that season three ups the ante on like their final fight like they did with this one.
I would assume so. That seems to be the thing. What we used to in D&D call the Monty Hall effect. Everything had to be bigger once you've gotten to a certain stage. So, like the bigger rewards. Moving on to the next one. We talked about this last week, and it's just the only real news here is they actually now have a title. So December 12th, you can go watch Once Upon a Deadpool. I love it. It's
Um,
cheesy. And they're confirming that they filmed a number of new scenes to fill in the vast amount of time that would be taken out with taking out all of the ultra violence and cursing. So
yeah, I don't know if I honestly don't know if I want to watch it because like part of the fun of those movies was the ultra violence and the cursing.
it was true. I mean, that is really what we now associate. Well, first Deadpool in the comics, yes, but also they translated that beautifully into Deadpool in the movies. But Ryan Reynolds is hilarious no matter what he does.
This is true.
And if Ryan Reynolds thinks he can pull off being just as funny and exciting in a PG-13 movie where, maybe they make a bunch of references to like farts and balls or something, because you can get that in a 13,
Yeah,
then, more power to him. Um, you can say it's a crass money grab by Fox to get the last dollars out before Marvel takes over.
yeah.
Um, Or you can say that they're actually doing something for the young audience of Deadpool fans that can't go see the movie. Um,
That would be a fair assessment.
yeah, let's call it that one, because that's a nice thing to say.
Yes, and it's going to be a holiday movie,
It's a holiday movie.
and it's a season of giving.
Does this book have kissing? Um, Honestly, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be hilarious. So here's something that people looked forward to, and boy, this is the best image I could possibly imagine for this. And this is just an image, a preview image actually from way back, months and months ago, of Fallout 76. Um, I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. I shouldn't laugh. All of these people, Fallout 76 had a bug that after you downloaded the beta that gave you a whopping 5-hour window to play, if you clicked on any button, literally any button, it would delete the entire 50 gig download you just did.
Oh God.
I'm sorry, I have to laugh. It's just,
Yeah, I'm just thinking about that. It's a good thing I'm on my psych med now. Otherwise, I could see myself having a rage quit, a god tier rage quit for something like that.
I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people who actually did, have a god tier rage quit over that. Um, and update, apparently, it didn't require you to actually click on something. As soon as you opened the client, for some people, it just went, boom, gone.
My God.
Yes, yes, the pain, the pain. To their credit, if you can call this a credit, they released a second beta window that was a few hours longer. It was 3 to 11 or something, so like 7 hours on the next day. So
Mm.
you got extra beta time. Of course, you only got in the beta if you pre-ordered the game, so that's not really a beta. Now,
Yeah.
a beta test is to work out bugs, and you invite people to a beta test, either closed or open. Inviting people who buy your game to play it early, which is essentially what their beta was, is just, it's a marketing tactic. It's not a beta, but
Yeah. I mean, Bethesda.
it's Bethesda. So what do you want? Um, what I want is them to do the right thing. Speaking
I
of,
know.
oh, yes,
I
sir.
was gonna say they're more likely to doing the right thing than EA is. Oh.
Burn. Let's get some ointment there, EA. You're gonna need it for that burn. But not really an innovative one, because everybody knows that EA is like that. So yes, Next topic. Speaking of, so we got the reverse driving Miss Daisy going. No, actually, this is kind of the driving Miss Daisy going on here. Um, and what that news is that Disney is announced yet again another Marvel Cinematic Universe series on the Disney Play.
Up.
Yeah, on the Disney Play streaming service. So with Falcon and the Winter Soldier in an upcoming miniseries. Um, this adds to the one Loki, Tom Hiddleston series, the Scarlet Witch series with Elizabeth Olsen. Um, I'm really, really looking forward to this. Their interplay was pretty good in Captain America: Civil War, which is what that image is from, of course. That is not from Driving Miss Daisy. And further in Avengers 4, it was or in Infinity War, it was very good. I don't know what the storyline is going to be. There's been speculation about what particular storyline it is. I don't know that it necessarily has to come from anything from the Marvel comic universe. It could be something completely made up. We don't know whether or not it's going to take place after the potential rumored loss of Steve Rogers, maybe in Avengers 4, maybe. I mean, his contract up. He's gone.
Yeah.
So, and I really wanted to go grab a clip or an image from the old, the 1980s movie Falcon and the Snowman, because Winter Soldier and Falcon and But if you haven't seen that, folks, go watch it. It's really cool. And it's a true story too, which is even more disturbing. Anyway, of course, no information. We don't know when any of this stuff will actually come out. The Disney Play service isn't even out yet, so they will have to do. I would assume they're going to be throwing lots of money at it, as has been speculated. So it will take a while. Valerie, Mad Scientist Mike, what's up? Welcome to the chat and to the show. So, moving on to our next thing, is that thing, the Swamp Thing.
I serve the greed.
R.I.P. Captain America. Yeah, well, kind of. I'm pretty sure he's going to stay around in the comic books there, Mike, and probably in some fashion, in the MCU. You know what? Here you go, Disney Play. Let's do a mini series of Cap in World War II.
They could make Isaiah Washington the next Captain America in canon. Just a thought.
They could.
Isaac Bradley. I'm getting my names confused.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. That's because I'm like, really? Okay, sure. Yeah, they could. But they would have to introduce him into the MCU, right?
Yes.
So.
I mean, why not though?
Yeah, it looks. Dana, let's hope not. That Dana says that looks like her brother or his brother. Sorry, Dana, I'm not sure your pronouns. That looks like their brother when he's mad. So, anyway, the news here, folks, is that they've cast the Swamp Thing, both of them, meaning they've cast the person who is actually going to be Alec Holland when he's not Swamp Thing, and the person who's going to be playing Swamp Thing. So the non-monster Swamp Thing is Andy Bean. Andy Bean was, in fact, one of the adult Losers Club in It Chapter 2. He plays the adult version of Stan Uris. The monster version of Swamp Thing is going to be Derek Mears. Derek Mears was, let's see, he appeared on The Flash. We don't know what's it, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He was Jason Voorhees in the 2009 Friday the 13th. He is 6'5", and apparently monstrous. So we've also.
Okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm very okay with that. I really like the fact that Will Patton is in the cast. Crystal Reed is playing Abby Arcane. Gerald Prescott, Madame Xanadu. Jennifer Beals will play the local sheriff, Lucilia Cable. So cool. I'm liking this cast.
And it's nice to see that they're finally doing a Swamp Thing series that focuses more on Swamp Thing's mystical side instead of
Yes.
him just being like a freak of science.
Yeah, the movie, the two movies that they made were essentially Man Thing. Man Thing is a freak of science. There's very little. Well, actually, no. Even with Man Thing in the Marvel universe, they made him a nexus of dimensional portals, or his swamp was, and that's why he became that. And that's kind of what Swamp Thing is too, except his is much more sort of a nexus of all kinds of supernatural and spiritual energies.
Yes.
So, um, Mike, Jason Voorhees will kill Thanos, confirmed. I like that crossover. Let's do it. Write that
Yeah.
script. Get that over to Kevin Feige right now. Anyway, so that series is moving along beautifully. I'm really looking forward to it. It will, of course, be on the DC streaming, DC Universe. Um, we do not have anything in here that says anything about when it's going to premiere. No, it is May 2019. Wow, folks, that's not that far from now.
Well, if
Uh,
any of my friends who have an account wanna look your boy up,
nope, 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 nope. Shameless shilling. He did not say he wants you to send a link to his account. He didn't say that. So we're going to make sure that that doesn't happen. It's a good thing this isn't being recorded by YouTube or anything and actually out there for everybody to see. Uh, anyway, moving along, folks. There is everybody's favorite new announcement about who's going to be in Smash. That is Piranha Plant. Um, Free DLC, by the way. You don't have to pay for this. You can get a plant to kill everybody else in your Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
I'm
Um,
looking for my puppy right now. Oh
you're going to smash a puppy? Let's not do that. Why don't
no!
I guess I must have misheard that.
I'm gonna be in the game. Why you let me know?
Why are you talking like Lucille? Not Lucille. Um,
You mean order two?
Audrey too. Um,
That's my uncle, baby.
anyway, folks, there was your Muppet Hour here on Nerd Week Live. Um, anyway, so yeah, it was announced. You have to wait for the DLC. It will be free DLC. You're not gonna have to pay for it. You'll also apparently
For
get
a limited time.
hmm?
For a limited time.
For a limited time.
Yes,
Apparently, they're going to be releasing an amiibo
I believe so. Actually, yeah, they are. Now that I
in
think about
February. Yeah. Um, 5 other downloadable fighters coming in a set that includes a fighter, a stage, and music for $6. Or you can buy a season pass, get all 5 as they're released. The season pass thing is apparently pretty popular in gaming these days.
it. Mm-hmm.
So are you gonna play? Is this your fighter? This your dude?
Uh, Not so much. I mean, you've seen my opinion on this. I'm kind of ambivalent towards the existence of this DLC.
Yeah,
I it was my thoughts were basically fans are like, we want Waluigi. Sakura's like,
yeah. That's kind of what Mike is saying. Waluigi needs to be in Smash, not this reject from Little Shop of Horrors. Appropriate for your, yeah, appropriate for your little puppet show there. Um,
yes.
yeah. So it honestly, I think depending on how they do it, it could be a lot of fun. It could be just basically really stupid. We'll have to see. I,
Like it could be a lot of fun. It was so out of left field. Like,
I just want to see its final attack be to like biting somebody's head off.
oh no, the final attack is turned into
PD Piranha, right?
yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
But still, I would rather have it just do an Audrey too and chomp somebody right in half.
Yeah.
That would be my thrill. All right.
Mm.
This is, for me, in my particular fandom, this is pretty cool news. And that is Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to lose all of his skin. And no, Obi-Wan Kenobi will be playing, Ewan McGregor, of course, will be playing Black Mask in the upcoming Birds of Prey movie.
Ooh.
Ooh is right. Um, Harley Quinn, Huntress, and Black Canary. Rosie Perez playing Renee Montoya. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. That must have been
That's
announced in it.
awesome.
Yeah. That one slipped right by me somehow. Um, this is fantastic. I mean, Ewan McGregor is amazing anyway. Um, Ewan McGregor does not play enough villains.
No, he doesn't.
And I'm looking forward to him being a really, really awful villain because there's not a whole lot noble or anything decent about Black Mask.
Yeah.
He's a mob guy that figured out, this whole scary stuff works really well for people. Spooky. I'm assuming you mean spooky, Dana. Yeah, he actually is. This is from one of the Injustice. I don't know. It's from one of the DC games. That's what the Black Mask image in this little thing I threw together here comes from. So that's
The only
not
game I can think of. The only game I can think of that he would be in would be Arkham Origins.
that. There you go. Um,
Yes.
and so this isn't necessarily what he's going to look like in the movie. This isn't. They didn't release anything like that yet because they haven't released any images from any of the main characters yet. Although we know what Harley Quinn. Well, we know Harley Quinn's going to look like Margot Robbie because it's being played by Margot Robbie. What
Yeah.
the costume is, we don't know. So I'm really looking forward to that. That is a 2020 release. It is February 7th, 2020. I'm really. Oh, He's going to play the lead in Doctor Sleep, the Stephen King sequel to The Shining.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's
Uh,
very busy.
yeah, he's going to be very busy. Well, he's known for obviously doing nerd adjacent stuff or straight up nerd stuff. Obi-Wan.
Yep.
So, I get it makes sense, but I would really like to see that. That also looks good. But big fan of this decision. I think they made the right choice here, and I really, really want to see what he does as a villain.
I was gonna say I'm really excited to see him tackle this role because the character of Black Mask is probably one of the lesser known villains of Batman's Rogues Gallery, but he's like there's a lot of wiggle room for him. Like you could play him as more of an imposing figure, or you could play him as more of the bravado-esque sniveling badass that he has been betrayed in recently.
Yeah, I get it's true. I get the impression, or I'd like to think they're going with the um, more imposing figure. The way he was portrayed in the animated Red Hood. Um,
He was more sniveling.
well, he was a pretty badass. I mean, granted,
Yeah.
Joker took control of him pretty easily. Um, he's like the ventriloquist. Mike, I do not get that comparison. The ventriloquist is pretty much. Well, actually, I don't know. They have actually
We're talking
redeemed
about
him a little
me.
bit. I think of him as a joke from because I was reading DC way back in the 60s and 70s. But they did kind of redeem him. You're right. He's they've made that one scary little
Yeah.
puppet.
Yes, Scarface.
Yep. Yep. Dana, guys, is it weird that the other ones aren't here watching? I'm not really sure the other ones who. It is kind of. We do have a small crowd here tonight, but it is again a really tough week with elections and all the other stuff going on.
Yeah. And plus, we're still transitioning to this new format.
That's true. That's true. Anyway, moving on. We go from scary, to deceptively cute little bunnies. Look at those deceptively cute little bunnies. The reason I say deceptively cute is that's some of the first images from the actual animation from BBC's production of Watership Down. if you've read Watership Down or saw the earlier animated series or animated movie, uh, cute is
Damn it.
so not an accurate term for uh, this murderous warfare filled portrayal of the life of rabbits in the British wildlands. Um, it's an amazing book. It's an amazing story. It just this is coming out this Christmas.
Oh boy.
Yep, coming out this Christmas. In order, this is a quote from this article. In order to more accurately portray the book, it's going to come in 2 feature-length installments. But
That'll be fun.
oh, that'll be fun. The voice cast is kind of what the story is, other than the fact that we get see these first images. John McAvoy as Hazel, Nicholas Holt as Fiver, John Boyega as Bigwig, Olivia Colman as Strawberry, which is a gender flip from the book. I'd have to go back and remember. I don't remember if Strawberry is male or female in the book. Ben Kingsley as General Woundward. Tom Wilkinson as Threera. Taron Egerton as El Araira. Prince with 1,000 Enemies, apparently is what that means. Peter Capaldi will play Kihar, the seagull.
Oh boy. Now you got my attention.
Let's hope he just spends the entire show swearing at people. It's not that adult a story, so don't worry about it, folks.
Just violent.
Yeah, Mike, it is kind of Peter Rabbit gone rogue. But it's so much more than that. It's a really deep social commentary story, told through the society and the social interactions of different groups of rabbits, and it's really good. I like the fact that they're doing 2 feature-length movies, because that will mean they won't have to short shrift a bunch of stuff that was in the book.
I need to revisit that book soon.
Oh yeah, it's been a stupidly long time since I've read it, like way back.
I saw the movie first, and oh god, that's so traumatic.
Yeah. Oh, it's traumatic. Reading it was very traumatic. Mike, the Doctor is a bird. So if the Doctor was an owl, that would make him Doctor. Thank you. Anyway, moving on to our next.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. It was bad. It was awful. I apologize. I'm not sorry at all. Moving on to our next thing. This is the first teaser image, and it's kind of hard to show that. I can't scroll up and down. It's basically a really long, thin poster. But it is for Penny Dreadful Season 3. So apparently nobody's coming back because they're making an enormous location and time change. This is going from Victorian era London and Europe to Los Angeles. So it's called Penny Dreadful City of Angels. This was Los Angeles in 1938.
Wow.
Yeah. So they have a ton of stuff they can mine, and they are saying very straight up that this will infuse Mexican American folklore, social tension, but some racial tension, and so on. The story will be rooted in the conflict between characters associated with the deity Santa Muerte and others that are allied with the devil. So here's
that sounds fun.
Well, it does sound fun. Here's my one problem with this. What made Penny Dreadful for me was its sort of horror version of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It took these fictional characters from literature of the period and put them all together into this storyline. And so you had Frankenstein, and you had Frankenstein's monster, and you had all of these wonderful these wonderful characters that come from horror literature of the period. I can't think of anything like that in 1938 Los Angeles. I can't think of any horror icons, literature or other. I guess they could all be, Universal movie monsters.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But
Like
they've
they could
already
do something
done
like that.
Frankenstein and the Werewolf, so why would they update it to a movie version of Frankenstein and the Werewolf? Yeah.
They could. I mean, they. I'm sure there's plenty of pop culture stuff that they could borrow from.
Well, yeah, but pop culture. Well, anyway, I understand it's a bit of a gripe for me, but in this case, I almost wish they just weren't using the Penny Dreadful concept. They just call it City of Angels and make it a story about a mystical conflict between Mexican American cultures and spirituality, and Anglo culture and spirituality in Los Angeles in 1938, and just ditch the whole Penny Dreadful thing. Um,
Use again, since it's going to be Mexican American, they could use a lot of Day of the Dead lore.
True. Dana, charge that phone, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining. Have a good evening. And they could be like American Horror Story, in which the stories are always different, but they use recurring cast members. And maybe the cast will, in fact, all be back, which would be pretty cool.
Yes, I was thinking that too.
Except there isn't a single one of them that's Mexican American. But anyway. Yeah, I like Timothy Dalton. I don't want him playing a Mexican American. Please.
Neither do I.
Um, yeah, playing a British peer was perfect. That worked out well. So anyway, it looks interesting. I have my reservations, but I think I am going to just sort of try to set those aside and view it as though it wasn't a Penny Dreadful series and see what happens. Sometime in 2019 is the closest that they will speculate on when this will be there. All right. Speaking of, oh, this is so wonderful. Spiritual kind of stuff or satanic kind of stuff, or anyway, folks. I'm sorry if you're offended by satanic imagery, but that isn't really satanic imagery. That is the statue that was created for the group The Satanic Temple. And before you start throwing garlic and holy water at the screen, the Satanic Temple is a completely non-religious, freedom of religion and freedom of speech promotional organization that has one purpose, and it is to go to any official governmental body, whether it's municipal, state, or federal, that has placed a religious iconography on their land, like the Ten Commandments. It's where this all started, somewhere out, I think St. Louis or something. And then petitioned that, well, because of freedom of religion and the separation of church and state, if they're going to do that, they have to put their satanic statue up there.
Whoa.
That has nothing to do with this story. That just tells you what the Satanic Temple is. What is the story is that this, if you've watched The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, is the statue of the Dark Lord, Satan, inside the school for witches and warlocks in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix. It is almost an exact copy of the very specific Satanic Temple statue of Baphomet. Right down to the two kids, even the position of the leg. And I did some research on this. If you go and look up statues of Baphomet, anything done starting a few years ago to back whenever, show Baphomet sitting not on a throne, but on the globe with his legs crossed wrapping around the globe. So let's go back to this. That's the Satanic Temple statue, and Baphomet's one leg is tucked into the seat and the other is sticking out. That's the statue in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. They straight up, no questions, no way any jury would ever see it any otherwise, copied the exact statue from the Satanic Temple. The Satanic Temple has sued Netflix.
Boy.
Um, there's so many other versions of this statue that they could have possibly used. It's somebody. Well, somebody's losing a job.
That is definitely for sure.
Set designer, you fired. And Netflix is going to pay to make this go away. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I can't imagine that they're going to actually let this go to trial, assuming that the Satanic Temple accepts the payment. They're all about political and public statements, so
Rightfully so.
and rightfully so. So we'll see. I just the level of stupidity here, pardon me, absolutely shocks me. Just amazed.
I mean, to be fair, this has been like, I mean, we had to talk about this like after the show last week, talking about how a lot of the imagery and a lot of the concepts in the show have been almost minstrel-like for Wicca and Wiccan culture or witchcraft in general. And the fact that they would go as far, the fact that the showrunners would go as far as to do this, it's not that surprising.
It's not, and so I didn't really want to touch on this, but I'm going to just throw this out there a little bit because it's been in some stories. The Mary Sue had articles on this, and I felt this when I was watching it. I grew up in an evangelical religious upbringing, and this sort of satanic imagery was thrown at me all the time, and the idea that witches are, blood drinking, children eating Satan worshippers. That is clearly just absolutely garbage. If you know anybody who's a Wiccan, even a what they call a Luciferian Wiccan, it's just not the case.
Yeah, it definitely isn't it.
And every single moment where they can make that connection to the evangelical view of witchcraft and Wiccans in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, they do it. And that started to really bother me. And I mean, like, seriously, like, infanticide, cannibalism, ritual murder, it was all in there. And I kind of started feeling like I was watching a minstrel show in blackface. That somebody wrote this to make it look like this was their interpretation of what a culture that they know nothing about was like. Now, granted, this comes from the comic book, so this is going to be laid right at the feet of the comic book, and the comic book is even worse.
Oh, absolutely.
So
like I'm looking it up. Sorry, I'm looking it up right now, and I can't see anything. I can't see too much along the lines of the religious background of Roberto Sacasa. I mean, he seems to be he seems to like horror, but I think that level of horror might have actually caused him to make this misstep of not really doing his homework for this backstory.
Yeah, but the way the story lays out, you need an amazingly evil enemy. You need an antagonist that's truly evil when you're dealing with people who have powers that are potentially reality changing, even if to a small extent. So I get why you would need that to happen. Why they make every witch. I mean, it's not like there are good witches. If you are a witch, you are expected to be a Satan worshiper. And in the most horrible way that is portrayed. Anyway, I don't want to go into it. It's out there. People read it. Go look some of this stuff up if you want to. I did finish the series, and since I haven't heard any complaints along those lines, except for those few articles from my friends who are in fact actual Wiccans.
I have actually.
All right, then I don't. I'm not investing an awful lot of hatred in this, but they really made me feel icky. Brady, hello,
Fair
welcome
enough.
to the show. Um, anyway, moving on to somebody who who feels icky, but not anymore. That right there is Rick Grimes, of course. That's Andrew Lincoln from The Walking Dead, and the news isn't because everybody knows this. We knew he quit long ago, and we knew he was being written out of the show, and everybody knows that, spoiler alert, he's gone. I mean, if you haven't seen, you know what happens sometime in this season, so don't worry about it. But guess what? He's not actually really gone. AMC is going to be making 3 full-length TV movies set in the Walking Dead universe featuring Rick Grimes with Andrew Lincoln playing him as the role, or as the lead role. Shark, meet your jumper. Just
Pretty much.
why? Well, I mean, money. Okay, we get it. The last few seasons of Walking Dead have just been almost unwatchable. Mike, I don't want to. For people who haven't seen things, we know that Rick is not making it out of this season. Whether that's already happened or not, I'm just going to leave that, let that sit there. Um, Maybe in a 2-hour movie block of time, they can actually tell a story that will keep me interested. But seasons mostly are filler. For the last probably 4 seasons, it's been just a whole bunch of filler. And stretch and stretch and stretch. And it's borderline unwatchable, and God, I hope that doesn't translate into these movies.
You're right back. I'm letting go beat a dead horse.
Yeah, because that's kind of what they're doing here. Hey, Andrew Lincoln, get that payday. Rock on, man. But don't expect me to. Yeah, of course I'm going to watch it. Doesn't say anything here about when the first one we're going to see. There's an awful lot in this article about how the how the audience has tanked for this series, which we talked about a while back. It's last season's finale was its lowest finale ever. This season's premiere was the lowest premiere since the actual premiere of the show, in which people didn't really know what was going on. So, yeah, it's just bad. Doing a quick scroll through here, folks, just to see whether or not they do give. This is a really long article, guys. Yeah, no indication of when these movies will happen. I'm guessing 2020 before we actually see them, but that's just a wild guess.
Well, someone will watch it.
Someone will watch it. Like I said, I'll watch it because I'm a sucker. Because I'd like to think. When does it going on? I don't know. As Brady was just saying, there's nothing in that article when that says that when the movies will start premiering. So moving on to our next topic. Game of Thrones, the last season, season 8. If you get a chance to go to the Entertainment Weekly website, they actually have this article up for free. Or if you grab the magazine, you can see all the photos that they grabbed from it. This is the only one that I could find that was high enough resolution, and that's even just an image of the cover. That's actually from shooting of season 8. Dany in her white robes. Jon, they're all ready for winter because it's here, as we all know. The article is written by somebody who was on set during the filming of the last scenes of the show. And he, of course, was told that he can't say anything under pain of probably parts of his body being hacked off or ripped off by the mountain. And he doesn't, but boy, does he do an excellent job of putting lots of hints by not saying certain things. and I don't want to go into them right now because there are people who don't like even potential hint spoilers. But if you want to read some hints by certain names that are dropped and certain things that he could say, even though he couldn't put names to them, go read the article. It's really interesting. And of course, it's got all the sappy, everybody cried and all this stuff. What do I think is going to happen in 2038? I have no idea. Why? Is that the singularity? What do I think is going to happen in 2038? I think I'm going to be 1828. So I'll be 78 years old. So I have no idea. I hope
Christ.
hopefully I'll be around. Other than that, I'm not counting on anything. But now we get to that lady.
Yeehaw!
Ye and ha. Honestly, I mean, I think Overwatch has done a really good job of putting out some really creative characters, some really interesting characters, some that just don't really get the kind of love, Lucio, that they deserve. This is one of the coolest reveals and coolest characters that I've seen them throw out there. That's Ashe, folks. That's the new playable character coming up in Overwatch. A leader of a gang of criminals, folks. Not necessarily a good person, a damage dealer, if that's what you're into, if that's your class. Her Deadlock Gang is the name of her group. And this is even better, or at least I think it's better. She comes with a robot sidekick that was a former butler with a robot mustache and a robot bowler hat.
That is awesome.
That is such a cool look. I love the design of Bob. Weapons are pretty cool and pretty straightforward. A lever action rifle can be used relatively rapid fire or aimed down the sight. A scatter gun, they call it a coach gun, which, if you are familiar with your Western movie iconography, that was what a sawed-off shotgun was called back in the day, a coach gun. And the coach gun, she fires, and it both knocks the person that she's firing at away from her and shoots her away. So basically, it's a way to get some separation. And she can throw dynamite, which she can fire at and cause to explode wherever in the arc it happens to be. So
I might have to get a new main. I haven't played Overwatch in months.
I think that's one of the reasons why they put this in here, is that they really want people to start thinking of this as their new main. That Ashe is really cool. And Bob is really cool.
I like the fact that she's voiced by Jennifer Hale.
Yes. Jennifer Hale, excellent voice actor. Just amazing work. Wonderful person too. She's been at a bunch of the local cons. She was at Granite Con one year, and she's been around.
Yes. Well, that's one of the things I love about Overwatch in general. They have so many power players of voice acting in it, like Crispin Freeman, Matt Mercer. I figure it's only a matter of time before they get Tara Strong involved.
Yeah, maybe they'll just bring in everybody in Critical Role, and then they'll just change all the characters over to Critical Role characters. That would actually be pretty funny.
That'd be good, actually.
Mike, I didn't realize you left. No, we're talking about Ashe from Overwatch. Let's throw that back out there. There you go. That's Ashe. We also have an image of Ashe and Sergeant Timothy Dum Dum Dugan from the Howling Commandos as a robot. Don't tell me I'm wrong. That's exactly what Dum Dum looks like. So we're discussing.
Less gray.
Yeah. The question, I guess, one of the questions is, did this make up for the the horrible lack of a Diablo 4 announcement at BlizzCon? Um, Everybody just went nuts over this character, but they started teasing Diablo news, and boom, guess what? They announced a new mobile game. And not only did they not announce anything about Diablo, they didn't say a word about it, even though they have said previously that it is in development. Um, there's an article out there that says somebody has an inside view that they actually had in the script queued up that they were going to talk about it at the very end of the news conference, and pulled that idea. They decided not to mention Diablo 4 at all. Boy, you want to talk about a bunch of butthurt fans.
Sure.
Sure. She is beautiful. I love the design. So Henchman Studios, if you go look this up on Google Images or anything, cosplay Ashe Overwatch, Henchman Studios was given the image files early and actually created the costume for a cosplayer. So there was somebody cosplaying officially, with Blizzard's stamp of approval, as Ashe at BlizzCon. But I've already seen more casual cosplays of Ashe because it's pretty easy to pull off. You get a straight white wig, like an Emma Frost wig, and a big black hat. Quickly throw some wide brim, throw some emblems on it. Leather vest, and if you don't have the tails on the vest and the chaps, jeans are fine, and look great. The Marvel chick, 96 Marvel chick, I can't remember what number it's the end of her, on Instagram was doing a casual Ashe at Rhode Island Comic Con on Sunday, and it was awesome. So I'm looking forward to lots and lots. I anticipate I will be seeing lots of those. I inverted my camera again, didn't I? At PAX East. And I hope you guys, if you're going, get your PAX East badges because the Hunger Games Insanity started today at 3:00. So good luck, folks, if you were trying. And
maybe I'll be ever in your favor.
Yes, if in your favor, I would assume everything's sold out, or Saturday and Friday are probably sold out by now. You know what? Since I've got my browser right up here, before I say that, not that this is necessarily anything anybody needs to know, but Saturday is sold out. Thursday, Friday, and Sunday are still available, according to the website.
Saturday's where like the biggest parties are too.
That is true. I have to say, the gun is really cool. It's funny. Mike, the coach gun, the little basically a shotgun, looks almost identical to that design of her lever action. They call it a semi-automatic, but she cocks it as a lever action. So that was a little confusing for me. It's like a shorter, thicker version of almost exactly the same design style. But it's very cool. I was talking about... Oh, I was just going to throw out there... I was going to do some name dropping, and that's a dick move, so I'm not going to do that. PAX East after parties are fun. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And that's it, folks. That's our show. Thank you for hanging with us. Thank you all for the chats. It was really cool. It was a lot of fun. Brady, I wouldn't mind necessarily if some of the robots that take over in 2038 look sort of like Overwatch robots. Or Nier Automata.
Ooh, those would be cute robots.
Let's go with that one.
Like squishy robot overlords. I approve.
And I have to say, my very, very, very first crush when I was 6 years old, because I think that's when it debuted in the United States, was Astro Boy's sister. So I have a thing. I have a thing for cute robot girls. Sorry. Anyway, so thank you for watching, folks. Tune in next week. I believe we're going to go back to our Tuesday night time. It works better for a lot of people, and it won't interfere with an election. Hey, woo, woo! I hope you all voted. I'm a big proponent of voting. No shame if you didn't, but please,
Same.
please think about it. It's very important to our democracy. And we will see that. What do we do? Oh, we'll be at AAC for anybody local who's going to another anime convention. It's called. Byron will be there. Um,
Yes.
and
Nashua, New Hampshire.
Nashua, New Hampshire. Not this coming weekend. The weekend after next. That same weekend, we will have people at Anime NYC, and I know a ton of people are going to Anime NYC. That is a big. Just took off like crazy. Everybody was really thrilled about its first year, and they're really looking forward to another year. The Team Fortress 2 robots take over. No, please. Chappie
Cool
takes over. Chappie for Overlord 2038. That's what we're going for. Chappie. And that's it, folks. We will see you next week. You guys have yourself a good evening and good weekend. Bye-bye.
Gold.